Hey everyone, this is Kerry from The Roads We Roam, and this is another edition of Camper Cooking with Kerry. And today we are going to make bread in our Little Guy Max without an oven.
Along these roads we roam, we find adventure through traveling, camping, boondocking, and exploring.
The first thing you need to do is pour hot milk into your bowl. Pour in your sugar and whisk the milk and sugar together until all of the sugar has dissolved. When the milk has cooled a bit, you'll want it to be lukewarm. Add the yeast to the milk and sugar, stirring just a bit. Let it sit for about 10 minutes to proof. You're looking for the yeast to look a bit frothy. Once your yeast is ready, you'll add in the flour, powdered milk, and salt. Make sure you do it in this order because if you add the salt directly to the yeast, you'll kill the yeast. Now mix together all of the ingredients. Sprinkle a little bit of flour on a flat surface. Gather the dough into a pile, place it on the table and start to knead. It'll be a bit sticky at first, but keep working it with your hands, forming it into a ball and then reshaping it. Knead with the heels of your hand, pushing away from you and folding back over. You'll continue this for about 10 minutes. You know when the dough is ready when it is shiny, relatively smooth, and it'll spring back when you press into it. Now take some butter and knead it into your dough. Once it is worked in, set it aside for a minute and prepare the bowl that you will use to let the dough rise. Take some butter and spread it around the entire surface of a bowl. You want a bowl large enough to let the dough expand about twice its size. Place the dough in a bowl and cover it with a damp cloth. You'll set it aside for 1 hour. While you're waiting for the dough's first rise, prep the pan that you are going to cook the bread in by spreading butter on all interior sides and edges. Don't skip this step, as the bread will be very difficult to get out of the pan without doing this. Now that your dough has risen, take it out of the bowl and punch it down. Knead again for a few minutes. You're aiming for a smooth dough. Pinch any cracks and continue working until smooth. Place your dough into the prepared baking pan and press to fill in evenly. Cover again with a damp cloth and set aside for 1 more hour to rise. After about 50 minutes, heat up your oven. Now add salt to the bottom of the pan. This is mostly to absorb moisture during the cooking process. Any pressure cooker that you can fit your loaf pan into will work. My All-American pressure canner cooker is a bit of an overkill, and I actually recommend a smaller unit. Place cutting rings or racks into the cooker bottom to elevate the loaf pan during cooking. Note, remove your gasket and weights from your pressure cooker before cooking. Place cover on cooker and turn on heat to high. Unwrap your dough and brush the top with milk. The fat and sugars from the milk will help your bread develop a nice golden color during cooking. Place your bread into the cooker, cover and reduce to medium heat. At about 20 minutes, remove cover and brush bread with milk once more, cover and continue to cook for an additional 10 minutes until you achieve that nice golden color. Take your bread out of the cooker and place on a rack to cool. To help make your bread nice and soft, take a bit of butter and brush it on the top of the loaf. Once the pan has cooled just enough to handle with your hands, flip it over and remove the bread. Wrap the bread in a damp cloth and set aside. After about 2 hours, unwrap the bread, slice, and enjoy.
I did want to say one quick note about the canner that I used. It was an All-American pressure cooker canner, and it was rather large, which, as I mentioned before, was a bit of an overkill. I really suggest something smaller that does not extend to the sides of the cooktop. We found that during this process, the countertop and the cooktop became very hot to the touch, which could potentially be a hazard. It's fine if you're at home on a traditional cooktop, but if you're in a camper with a smaller sized cooktop range, definitely go for a smaller unit.
Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. Please consider following our blog at www.theroadsweroam.com for full recipe instructions and links to any of the products that you saw in the video. Also consider liking and subscribing to us. That would really help a lot. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. Thank you.